Howdy, welcome to Formula Forecast, where we discuss the twists and turns that Mother Nature throws at us. This week, we're in Baku.
Towards Vale now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Leclerc has that inside line. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff.
The season seems to be peaking as we head into the tight streets of Baku, following a shock Ferrari win courtesy of Charles Leclerc in Monza. The street circuit has been a part of Formula One since 2016, originally as a European Grand Prix, before changing its name to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix the following year. The track is one of the longest on the calendar, and it is certainly one of the more interesting layouts. It's also witnessed many famous moments in its short history.
That is a 200-mile-an-hour crash for Max Verstappen, and that is also Red Bull's first 1-2 in many a long year, taken out of them as well.
Alongside him on the front row, Perez gets away well. Hamilton will wheel spin. Sebastian Vettel is coming at them as well. Perez tries to cut off Hamilton, who locks up and goes.
I am stupid.
Lewis is backing up the pack a little bit. And, he went into him. He might have lost a bit of front wing there, Sebastian Vettel. And he's saying to Hamilton, what did you do?
He brake tested me. What the is going on?
Vettel literally just came alongside me and turned in and hit me.
Last year's winner was Sergio Perez. Finally, I can say someone else other than Max Verstappen.
Leave me alone!
And the lap record belongs to Charles Leclerc, set in 2019 with the SF90. Looking at this week's schedule, Friday of FP1 and FP2, FP3 and qualifying are on Saturday, with Sunday as race day. The weather looks to be perfect for this weekend in Baku. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are expected to be quiet with mostly sunny skies. Winds will remain constant across all 3 days, coming from the northeast at about 24 kilometers per hour, and high temperatures will hover around the mid to lower 80s or about 27 to 29 degrees Celsius. The good weather is due to this Omega block pattern with a large ridge parked over the area. This high pressure system will last throughout the entire weekend, keeping weather fairly quiet. In terms of how this will affect the Grand Prix, this is almost always a one-stopper, and given the weather, this won't change, so expect to see teams running mediums to hard so that if a safety car is deployed, they can utilize that free pit stop. Another week, another McLaren disaster. Despite criticism from Sky Sports reporters and former drivers like Nico Rosberg, McLaren continues to embarrass themselves by seemingly trying to throw away not one, but 2 championships with their proprietary rules. If you want to hear my full thoughts on the subject, check out this video here, but the short and sweet version is Andrea Stelli is to step up and hit one of the drivers with a multi-21, or James, it's Valtteri. Anyway, in other news, Ollie Bearman will be taking Kevin Magnussen's seat this weekend following his race ban, so expect some generational driving from K-Mag in the final 7 races of his Formula One career. In the driver standings, Lando Norris is slowly closing in on Max Verstappen. The current gap is 62 points, but with Ferrari suddenly looking unusually strong, overtaking Max will likely be problematic for McLaren unless they choose to back one driver. With that in mind, it's my honest opinion that Leclerc would have an easier time closing the gap to Max than Lando, as Ferrari will have no problem telling Carlos to swap or hold position. In the constructor standings, the gap at the top is narrowed to just 12 points, with McLaren likely to overtake Red Bull in Singapore. However, this doesn't guarantee that McLaren will win the championship, as Ferrari is also still in contention, trailing McLaren by only 31 points. A less likely but still possible outcome is Mercedes winning the Constructors' Championship, as they still could theoretically close the gap, trailing Red Bull by 154 points. The bottom line is that this is still anybody's game, and the final races of this season should be the most interesting and exciting since 2012 or 2021. As for my predictions for the Grand Prix, let's start with the best 3 teams, worst 3 teams, and my top 5 drivers in order. For the best 3 teams, I'll go Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. However, Ferrari could easily swap places with either Mercedes or Red Bull, as McLaren still has the most consistent all-around car outside of a few tracks. Plus, each team is bringing significant upgrades this week, except for Red Bull. For the weakest 3 teams, I think Sauber, Haas, and Alpine will be at the bottom, because Williams seems to be capable of snagging 9th or 10th in most races now. Finally, for my top 5 drivers, I'm playing it a bit safe this week, since my Monza predictions left me saying,
I am stupid.
So I think Oscar Piastri will take the win. As I mentioned before, McLaren still seems to have the fastest car, but despite that, I expect both Charles and Max to finish ahead of Lando, placing them in 2nd and 3rd, and in 4th and 5th, I have Lewis Hamilton ahead of Lando Norris. I'm also curious to hear your thoughts on how this Grand Prix will turn out, so comment down below with your predictions for the race. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for Singapore.